Welcome to the True Grime Stories podcast, where in every episode, we'll unravel a new mystery of cleaning business transformation from a grimy mess to a great success. Join me, your host, Jeannie Henderson, as together we dig up cleaning business secrets that you've been dying to know. Welcome, everyone, to our next episode of True Grime Stories. And I'm so excited today to welcome an amazing cleaning industry leader that I have known for a few years, actually several years. We were just talking before we got started. So let's welcome Morris McRae. He is the co-owner of Maids on a Mission with his wife, Tammy, and they are located in San Antonio, Texas. They got started back in 2019, and Maids on a Mission has such a great story. So I'm going to let Morris share most of that, but they are really focused on delivering exceptional service. They've grown a great team in a very short period of time and achieved greater success than many of us ever do in the cleaning industry. So a little bit about Morris's background. He was or is an Air Force veteran, served quite a few years ago, served his country in the United States Air Force. So we appreciate Morris's service for sure. And that's, I think, a part of the name of their business, right? Comes from that veteran-owned military background. But he also went on to have a great career in the technology industry, working with Motorola, and also then went on to become a teacher. So what a broad range of careers. I love this. He was a history teacher from 2009 to 2019. So I love this story today about starting a business as a second or third or fourth career. And okay, so welcome, Morris. We're so glad to have you here today. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, no, completely my pleasure. Thank you for the offer of being on your show. Really appreciate it.
Well, we're excited to hear your story today. And so tell us about how you got started. I love this because there are a lot of people in the cleaning industry, and I'm very much like you in that regard, where unlike many people who start in the cleaning industry as starting as like a solo cleaner and then starting a business, you started your business after having multiple successful careers prior to that.
Yes.
So tell me how the idea got formed and how it got started.
Well, I don't know. I won't give you all the gory details, but it basically came down to this. Tammy was in a corporate job. She was starting to hate that job and really didn't want to go to work every day. And I had been in that position at one point with Motorola. And so I knew how she felt. And I wanted to get away. I wanted to be able to, for her to get away from that. And we talked about what are some of the options? What can we do? And of course, I was a teacher, and teachers sadly are not paid that much in this country. But what a fulfilling job anyway. It doesn't matter.
Right.
But for her to get away and for us to still have the lifestyle that we wanted, we were like, what else can we do? And I was like, well, why don't we just start a business and get it going and just work for ourselves? And so that was the genesis of it. And we wanted to work in home healthcare in the beginning because, I'm a boomer, and I know, boomers, we're all getting older and we're going to need all this healthcare. And so I did my
We're all
due
going to
diligence.
need some help here pretty soon.
Absolutely. So I did all my due diligence. I was talking to all these people in the business, and everybody I talked to was like really depressed. Really, I didn't get a good vibe. And so I was like, you know what? Don't want to do that because I don't want to work 24/7 either. I'm getting up in age. I want to be able to do things in my life, before it's too late, right? It's just a matter of fact. But we stayed in the home, and we were like, okay, we don't want to work 24/7. I want to work kind of Monday through Fridays, 8 to 5, And so guess what? We kind of narrowed all that down, and it came into home residential cleaning, which is kind of one of the things that our employees like about working here as well, is, they get to have time with their families and do all the things that they want to do in the evenings and on the weekends. So it meshed with us with our lifestyle. My mom, she she was just bowled over. Her son being in a cleaning business, that did not jive with her at all. But I didn't know anything about it, right? So
Right.
I knew we needed help, and I wasn't going to go in and just do this on my own. I know I'm an educator. I know the value of an education and coaching and all of that. So I decided, hey, I'm going to start finding somebody to help us out, and that's
Yeah.
when I actually looked up this lady called Debbie Sardone. And believe it or not, I got a call from one of her folks. We were vacationing in Las Vegas at the time, and I'll never forget. It was in the lobby of the Paris Hotel Casino when we were talking about joining CDF, and that was the genesis of it. So
Oh my goodness.
that's when I went into live that March or April. We
Hmm.
started our business in August, and but what a blessing! Just couldn't be happier. Um, it, it's it's turned out to be much more than I thought it was going to be. So much of the satisfaction is having good people with you in the company, and you're helping them succeed, and you're helping them do these things. And it's just
That's
not about
great.
us, Tammy and I. It's about all of us as
Yeah.
Maids on a Mission and our customer base that we love and all of that. So
Wow.
that was the start of it. We wanted to turn over a new leaf. We wanted
Mhm.
to work on our own and be our own boss. And by happenstance, we chose this business.
That is so great. And I love that story. You did a good job of like, you know, telling a really long story, very quickly, but you know, to capture the essence of that is that, this is a great opportunity for people who are, first time entrepreneurs
Hmm.
who, want to get out of corporate, want to move on to something new. And, but it's still a business. We still need to learn how to do it. It's
Absolutely.
not it's not rocket science, but it does have its own, challenges. And there
Well,
are definitely success strategies that we can all adopt, but you won't know them unless you do the research. So I love how you shared your story of research, because I think a lot of us just kind of shoot from the hip, we think, oh, well,
yeah,
I'll try this and I'll try that. And that's really exhausting. So it's so great that you spent the time doing the research, found out what you wanted to do, and then you went, who's done this before me that I can go learn from?
exactly. Yeah. I mean, it would be, I don't have time to waste, and there's going to be this thing of time that's interwoven throughout the story is
Mhm.
our time is valuable, and
It is.
you realize that the older you get. And so I don't have time to waste. I wanted to hit the ground running, and I wanted to run hard and fast. And so to do that, I didn't want to do trial and error. I wanted to learn from somebody that's been there, done that. Give me a plan. I didn't want to do a franchise. I wanted to,
Yeah, you
just
built a
be
great
our own.
brand.
Yeah,
Hmm.
right. So that thread of time is constantly interwoven through our success and story.
Yeah. And I think that's really important for us all to think about. And I think, you know, not to be ageist or anything, but when people are younger, they tend to be like, oh, I'll just try this,
Hmm.
and I'm guilty of doing that myself, as a matter of fact. And, but I was on a call with somebody the other day, and he said, I have more yesterdays than I have tomorrows.
Wow. Yeah. True.
And it was very impactful, because it's true. At some point, you just know by physics that there's a certain limitation, right? And
That's right.
that we want to make the most of that. And I've been admiring you and watching you
Oh,
over
thank
these
you.
last several years, and I love watching you share when you and Tammy are traveling and stuff like that. I mean, you're
Yeah.
completely living the entrepreneurial dream, and
Yeah.
that's why I wanted to have you come on True Grime Stories today,
Great. Thank you.
because it's just such a great story. So let's go back to the beginning a little bit,
Okay.
and talk about, your grime story is a little bit different. Your grime story actually started before you started your cleaning business. You were like getting out of the mess of being in the grind and not loving what you do.
Yes,
You know?
I actually was loving what I did. I
Oh,
loved teaching. Tammy did not love what she was
Tammy did
doing,
not.
but
Yeah.
we're a team, right?
Mhm.
So, if we had to come to, but that's, yeah, that was the grime. The dirty didn't want to do what she was doing anymore, and so we needed to figure out, what we could do together to propel, our lives, and that's what happened here.
Yeah. Well, and another thing I love is your brand, which I mentioned.
Hmm.
And, with your veterans background, I'm part of a veteran family as well. My husband and my daughter are veterans, and my
Uh,
dad, and a lot of
yeah,
people in my
it
family.
seems to happen that way, doesn't it? You've got that. Um, that service heart, right?
Mhm.
You look at, being in the military, being a teacher. These are all things where you're trying to give more than you receive,
Mhm.
and so that's kind of part of our DNA.
I do. And I think our audience who's listening to this today, I'm sure will relate to that, because I think those of us who have a servant's heart and want to make lives better for other people are drawn to this industry.
Absolutely.
And the cool thing is, it's a way you can serve others 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, where most other roles serving others are, a 24/7 jobs like healthcare, home
Right.
care, things
Right.
like that. And so this is kind of a sweet spot. All right, so take us back to the beginning as
Okay.
you were learning how to run your business. I'd really like you to think about like something that you learned. Maybe it was maybe you ran into a challenge and you had to course correct and you figured something out, or maybe it was something that you dodged the bullet of living in misery. You like knew it because you invested in education before you even started your business. What's something that you really feel like really helped you start strong and grow your business?
Well, without a doubt, having that solid foundation of a playbook, that, uh, hey, this is, here's the key performance indicators you should look at. This is kind of a sweet spot for who to look for to, that would be great professional cleaning technicians. Um, this is how fast you should be able to clean a house, and all of these things that I knew nothing.
Right.
So without
Yes.
the training, I didn't know how to clean a house. I much less professionally clean a house.
Mhm.
So I mean, there was just so much learning that you had to get done. And even at the start, I don't think we were really strong in training, and so that was a struggle that we had at the onset of just really understanding, what does it mean to be able to do these different levels of service.
Mhm.
And so being able to find people within a program that were mentoring and willing to help us out, that was so huge. And it's just, and I think it gets back to what you were saying, that servant heart that's so rampant in this business. We all want to help each other. It's like a rising tide lifts all boats.
Yes.
So we like that. So learning just the basics of the business. That never
Mhm.
ran a business, so it was hugely important that we understand all of that, build a solid foundation, and that was the number one key deal. The
Mhm.
second, and I'm going to have three if you don't mind. The
Right.
second one was having a problem with having a lot of employee turnover in the beginning.
Okay.
It was just tough,
Yeah.
and
It's painful, isn't it?
it
I,
is,
I've been through that as well. And it's like,
and it's
how do
still
I
a
make it
challenge.
stop?
Right. And it's still a challenge at times, but in the beginning, it's just so hard, because you're trying to build a business while trying to keep employee or an employees, and to keep them busy so that they can make a living. It was just really hard to be able to build up the business to support people working for you,
Mhm.
rather than Tammy and I going out and having to clean. And
Right.
actually, when we started, Tammy was still working, and I certainly didn't want to go clean homes. So, getting the training down was huge.
Yeah. So I think, the two things that you mentioned there are so key, and I'd love to dive deeper into those and kind of, you know, investigate how, that was your grime scene really when you started your business was, how to stop turnover, how to have the right people, and then how to train them. Because
Right.
training is such a big part of retention. When people feel confident in their role and they feel like they're doing a great job, they enjoy the work more, they get paid more, they get more tips, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
It really helps tremendously. So I'd love to dig into that. So you're getting started, and it
Hmm.
really is hard in the beginning. I think you can remember when you're just trying to get past like 4 or 5 employees, and you
Oh,
get you get to
yeah.
5, and then you go back to 3, and then you get to 7, and you go down to 5, and like they're that getting your business started and getting over that hump of that 5 to 7 employees where you can for sure be out of the field,
Yes.
and then you start to get some traction and momentum going.
Right.
Tell me how training your team made a big difference in, getting through that, and what you learned about training. Like, what are some of the key things that you use in your business, in your training system, that helped you in that beginning part, and has helped you build your team of 18 uh,
Right.
at this point?
Well, training has to be systemized. Number one, so and it starts day one. It starts with the onboarding process. You set the tone right there of what your company is and what it's all about, and and it's finding the right person. So it has to start in the beginning. And at the beginning, we were looking for people that maybe had prior experience, or had this kind of a background or that kind of a background, and
That
we were
makes
trying
sense,
to,
doesn't it?
and it
Right?
does, and
It
we
makes
were
sense.
trying,
I'm going to hire experienced people,
so
but
we're trying to hire people from a technical basis. And what we found out is that's not what really works. I can teach you how to clean, but I can't teach you to have the values and the culture fit that works within our company. So I think that was the huge paradigm shift that we had to make, was we have to hire people that fit our company more than they have the technical capability, because we can teach you what how to clean once we figured out how to do all of those things, right?
yeah,
And
well, and
that was an internal learning process,
that's
so that
huge though. I mean, wasn't that like the day you realized that? Like,
oh yeah,
oh,
it was like, but okay, okay.
yeah.
And is it perfect? No, but nothing is. And
Well, we're dealing with humans,
exactly.
right? And until we're dealing with robots, which is hopefully not in our
Hopefully not
lifetime,
exactly. Yeah.
that you know, it's never going to be perfect. But I think that's a huge lesson for all of us, is that cleaning experience doesn't equal success in this industry.
All of our best cleaners that we still have on staff today that have been with us, coming on 5 years and 4 years, they did not have cleaning experience, not a one of them.
Yeah.
And so, just you got to hire good people. It comes down to, this is a people business. I think most businesses are,
Right. Yes.
and you just got to you got to find those good people
Mhm.
that all want to pull on the rope with you and not against you, and all of those things.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then you find the right people, you start figuring out, oh, okay, well, I've tried hiring the experienced ones, and
Hmm.
they bring their own set of dysfunction with them,
Right.
right? Like,
Yeah.
what's some of the things that you experienced when you hired those experienced cleaners? Like,
Well, number one, they already had a system, right,
hmm
that did not necessarily fit with your system. And so I think training is easier than retraining, if that makes sense. Because they had already learned bad habits that we didn't want or need or desire, and it's hard to break a habit.
yes.
And so I just think people coming in with a fresh start, they start out with our system. That's all they know. They know it, love it, and then being able to find people that could then train others to do it. That was the other key piece.
Yeah.
And to find those people that want to cheerlead for your company and what you stand for, because I think, finally getting the good people, but then being able to retain them is a whole different story, and you got to be able to pay them right and treat them right and all of that, right?
Right.
But then you have to be able to teach them how to, ones that want to train others, you have to teach them then how to be a trainer and what that looks like and what that feels like. And it's more than just, again, the technical pieces of it. It's the training of who we're about and what we stand for, and all of those things that I think go into a successful onboarding and training of new hires. It's not just the technology of, this is how you clean a toilet.
Hmm.
It's, this is how we operate, and this is what we stand for, and we all get along, and you're going to love it here, and all of those things.
Yeah. You know, setting the expectation and just creating the
The soft
mindset that they
skills,
need,
yeah,
right?
the
The
soft
soft skills.
skills that are, yeah, that are involved in this.
Well, I love that part of the story, and I'd like to go deeper into that. But we're going to take a little bit of a break here because I want to share with everyone a little bit more about the program that Morris was referring to, and that's Cleaning Business Fundamentals. So let's take a break right here and hear a message from our sponsor, CBF. Is your cleaning business a grime story? There's no need to stay stuck in the muck because you're not alone. With over 500 active members and more than 500 graduates of our Cleaning Business Fundamentals program, CBF is the #1 cleaning business academy in the world and has created more mop-free millionaires than any program in the industry. Learn more and let CBF take your residential cleaning business from a grime story to a gleaming success. Well, welcome back, everyone, to our True Grime Stories interview with Morris McRae of Maids on a Mission in San Antonio, Texas. So, Morris, thank you so much for sharing all about your business. I love your story.
Thank you.
And Morris, you were talking about how, finding the right people is so important, but the key to holding on to them is setting those expectations and then training to that. And I was thinking about it as you were talking about it, like the fact that you were a teacher for so long and you loved doing that, training must be something near and dear to your heart.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything begins with training, but what the good part, and I'm gonna be completely transparent. I might have been the teacher, but it was my wife who really took over the role of training the trainers, and
Okay.
so
What's Tammy?
go Tammy, right? So all of that goes on to her, and she's just done an excellent job, and
Mhm.
success is really more than myself. I'm going to be honest. It's her, right?
Mhm.
She's the one that that's in the grime and the grind every day more than
Mhm.
myself.
Yeah.
And we just couldn't do it without her support, and
Well, it sounds
what
like you
she
two
does.
make a great team.
We do. We
Yeah.
absolutely do. And
And
it's hard for a couples to, we're together 24/7. It's not like we, go and do this, one day and we come back after, 10 hours away. We're here 24/7. And that carries its own issues sometimes.
I'm
And,
sure that was a
and
big change for you because you weren't working in the same space
oh, absolutely not.
prior to that. That's a big change.
Big change.
My
And
husband and I have always worked together, so I don't really know anything different than that. People have always said to me, like, how can you work with your husband? I can't imagine working with my spouse. But I don't know anything different. My husband Terry and I have always worked together and we love working together. But, that's a little
and
something
we do
too
too.
that
And we do too. But
Mhm.
I would have been just completely remiss if I did not give her the credit that was due here.
Yeah.
And of course she would probably give me some credit as well.
Yeah. Well, it's a true partnership and you've really made it work. And
Yes.
some people are afraid of starting a business with their spouse, but it can be so rewarding. And
Mhm.
you really see how your strengths and your weaknesses balance out, and
Yeah,
that kind
for
of thing.
sure,
So
for sure.
yeah, and like giving each other the ability to lead in different areas. It's that's also a beautiful thing. Well, maybe have you come back and talk about that. Have you
Okay,
and Tammy
sounds
come
good.
back
Sounds
another
good.
time?
Well,
Uh,
good luck getting Tammy on a video. She is beside. She's behind the scenes all the way. I will have
yeah.
to tell you.
Oh, well, I understand that too. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
respect that for sure. All right, well, let's talk some more about training and how you evolved your training program, what you've learned, and the difference that it's making in your growth today. So, how you said you kind of discovered that training was the thing. What was kind of what were the problems that were presenting themselves that you're like, oh, we got to double down on training?
Well, it was the lack of consistency from job to job, and knowing exactly what you were supposed to do given a different style of clean.
Mhm.
You know, so in the
And when you
beginning,
say style, you mean from
like a
like a
move in,
regular
move out, a
cleaning?
standard versus a
Mhm,
top to bottom versus, things like a custom or priority clean. So
mhm.
we had to, as we grew and had these other opportunities to do these different services, well, we had to go and train those people, right, on how to deliver those services. So I don't know that there was any real magic key other than there was programs within CBF that like train the trainer and stuff like that, that
In the
give you
speed cleaning training
the
program,
speed
yeah.
cleaning training program. That again, talking about foundations, that formed the foundation of what we could then grow our training to look like and kind of mold it to fit again what we are looking for, and how to train people. Because again, it's not just the training of the job itself. It's really the indoctrination. I hate to use that word maybe, but it's the indoctrination of what it's going to be like and how what does a great employee look like, right?
Mhm,
That works for Maids on a Mission. So what is that avatar? And that's what we're training. You know, as
mhm,
much as again how to clean. It's
mhm.
what is it going to be like to be successful here? And one thing I always tell them, and this is always in the interview process, we are looking for the face of Maids on a Mission.
Oh, I
You
love that.
you are going to be the face of Maids on a Mission. When our customers think of us, they're not going to see this mug. They're going to see your lovely face, right? And
Right.
so that's what we're hiring to, and that's our expectation is you be our face and what we stand for and what we are and professionalism and courteous and all of those things. So
That is solid gold right there. And when when you said that, like I can just imagine people in the interview like sitting up a little taller, like, oh wow, I get to represent this amazing company. You're and also what you're doing is the one thing that many of us miss in the beginning is setting a very clear expectation of what their role is
right,
you know and a lot of times we don't do that, we miss that opportunity, and then we wonder why aren't they doing it the way they're supposed to, or why aren't they acting professional or friendly or all of that. But if you don't set the expectation, you can't expect to have it.
right,
You have to teach to those expectations. And same with cleaning. My team
right.
was just talking about this yesterday in our leadership meeting, was that we train really well on our regular cleaning. We
Yes,
train really, really well on that. But then our other types of cleaning that you were talking about,
yeah.
we're finding that people aren't getting enough training in those types of cleaning. So if we have a challenge or a failure on a particular cleaning job, that's where it's happening, because
Well,
it's
it's
harder to train those because you get the other training done and then you think, well, I'll just tell them for a deep clean, just clean deeper. It doesn't work that way,
right.
does it?
And just to give you an example, and it's one that just happened, I guess yesterday. No, maybe it was this morning.
Mm,
So we have a new hire, and
mhm.
sorry, hold on,
That's
Jordan,
right.
you'll have to call me back. Bye.
We all know what that's like as cleaning business owners.
Absolutely. So we always ask for feedback, how the training went. And our trainer this morning said, everything had been going great, but I trained her today on how to do a deep clean, even though this is a standard clean. So we treated this as if it was a deep clean. She did this on her own, right?
Oh, good.
Because she knows the importance of that. And we
Mm-hmm.
hadn't been able to get this trainee on a top to bottom. We didn't ask her to do it. She knows the importance of it. She did it on her own. She has that, we give them that, ability. We hire professionals. We don't hold your hand. We give them that autonomy. And she just took it on her own. And God, you know,
Yeah.
what else can you do other than praise? Now,
Right.
could I add one other thing that I think
Mm-hmm.
really, and this is maybe the one nugget you talked about, maybe a nugget that you wanted to get.
Yeah.
Here's the nugget.
Okay, I'm ready.
So, um, we started out, it's like, who's going to get to know Maids on a Mission? We have all of these franchises, these other businesses that have been here in San Antonio 30, 40 years. Here I am, I'm, 6 months in. How do I get some traction? And just fundamentally, I knew the only proof that you can do is through social proof, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have to be laser focused on getting reviews. So, how are we going to do it? And the idea that I came up with was um, doing a leave behind after every clean that said, hey, if you enjoyed, our service, if our technicians did a great job for you, we would appreciate you leaving a review. And if you put their name in the review, then they will have some extra compensation from the company.
Mm-hmm.
And once that happened, because our customers, they get to know the cleaners, that they
Right.
treat them like
Yes,
family.
they do.
And so we just started getting flooded with people doing reviews, and they wanted to make sure that their cleaner, their technician, got the recognition that they believed they deserved and that we believed they deserved. And so that just started an avalanche of good things that started with the company. And it started with, and now when we get candidates in that really want to work here, they were like, oh my gosh, I looked at y'all's reviews
Right. Yeah.
and everybody is talking about how great all of your employees are. I want to be part of that team,
That's
right?
exciting.
And so there were these unintended benefits that I didn't even know. I just wanted to get reviews in, right? You know,
Yeah.
it was a very singular focus,
Well,
and
you did a great job. I was reading your reviews actually before our call today,
yeah,
and I think there are 471 of them.
yeah,
And
in
there is
5 years, yeah,
yeah, that's amazing. I mean,
it
are you
is.
at the top of your market with number of reviews? I mean, you got to be
We're
pretty
pretty
far up there.
close. We're pretty close,
Hmm.
and
I mean, and you've only, like you said, there are businesses that have been there, 20 years,
40 years,
40
yeah,
years,
yeah,
who might have the same number or not too many more. And I have that same kind of situation, where I'm located. There are businesses that have been here a lot longer who just really haven't worked at that. And so they don't have that many reviews. But the thing that I noticed right away, Morris,
yeah.
was that there was a name mentioned in every single one of your
Every
reviews.
single review.
Yeah, I thought that was really unique, and it puts a not a face but a name to your business in a
Hmm.
way that I think it warms your business up and it makes people, it gives it that local feel, and yeah, I thought it was really cool.
It makes it
So that's a
personal.
great tip. Thank you for sharing that with our
No,
audience. I
no
think that's
problem.
going to change some people's lives
That
right
really
there.
was the nugget
Hmm.
that really, if you're just starting out, right, and you just got to get that traction. And I'm going to go back to that time theme. I don't want to wait around forever. Our goal was to hit 1 million revenue in 3 years, and we
And
did it. And we did it.
woo,
Right.
nice.
So,
Yes,
and so
congratulations.
we had to kind of figure out how to do that. Had a solid foundation, but then you got to roll with the punches and figure some things out on your
Hmm.
own too.
Hmm.
And I think this was the one thing that really started accelerating our business, getting us at the top of that, Google 3-pack on the map. And,
Right.
once you started doing that, then you just got to deliver. And that gets back to the training and the hiring.
Yeah. I mean, you couldn't get all those reviews if you hadn't invested in yourself first
Right.
as the owner, in your training,
Yep.
right?
For sure.
And then in the training of your team.
Yep.
Without both of those, you probably wouldn't have been able to achieve the amazing growth and success that you've had. But it just sets a great example for all of us that um, training is such an important part of what we do, and it should never stop. And I love that you said it starts on day one. It's,
Yeah.
it immediately, as soon as they start the interview process, they start learning about your business, and how you talked about how they're going to be the face of your business. Like,
Yes.
all of that is the beginning of their training program.
It really is. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and I do remember watching your meteoric rise in, the growth of your business, and some people never reach a million, and have been in business for dozens of years. And so, congratulations to you and Tammy for the
Thank
great
you.
business and team that you've
Thank you.
built. So, I know you both love to travel,
Yes.
right? And would you say that your business is kind of that thing that is now helping you build the life that you want for
Oh,
this
it
season of
is
your
the
life?
thing. Oh, it is absolutely the thing that helps. You know, if we didn't have the freedom of having a great team, that works with us, then we wouldn't be able to go, to Europe for 10 days, right? I mean, because we're not putting out fires, with a 8-hour time difference or whatever.
Hmm.
We just we've got great people. They handle it. If there's something nuclear that happens, yeah, give us a call. But they
Right.
never give us a call. And so being able to travel is one thing. Being able to travel worry free is also another thing.
Yes.
You know,
Plenty of us have gone on trips and we're like doing payroll. I did payroll in Grand Cayman once. Like,
right?
I was so desperate to go on vacation. I'm like, I'll just be in the sun and work, right? And
Right. Absolutely.
but that's really not
Absolutely.
ideal. You're not unplugging. We need to unplug.
Exactly. Yeah. So we
And
have people that do the payroll. Our son joined the business. I guess it was 3 years ago now, and
that's
so
really
he's
cool.
just been able to grow, and now he's at a position where he's taken over so many responsibilities that I had. He took over the majority of sales, probably 2 years ago, and now he's doing a lot of the back end stuff that Tammy used to do. And so he's, again, another part of the family that is reaping benefits from the business. And of course, it's going to be his if he wants it here in the probably not so distant future. You never know.
How wonderful. Well, I just want to thank you again for coming on True Grime Stories today and sharing your grime story from the very beginning. And it's just so inspiring. And I know that those who are listening are going to be able to learn a lot from what you shared. But, I just wish you and Tammy and your family great success. It's a great example of how a family can come together and build something great together, and you're creating a legacy, and at the same time getting to live your best life. So
Absolutely.
what a great example. I absolutely love seeing your pictures from everywhere in the world. It's kind of like, where's Waldo? It's like, where's Morris and Tammy now?
Well, we're going to the Caribbean in a month, and then we'll be in Alaska in June and Yellowstone in September. So be on the lookout.
That's what we call a lifestyle business. And I think many of us dream that when we get started, but we get caught up in the business and we don't know a way out. And that's where, you shared right from the beginning, cleaning business fundamentals is such a great
Mhm.
way
Oh, yeah.
to create your playbook for your business. CBF
Uh,
gives you everything you need.
Absolute gold. Wouldn't be here without it. I mean, yeah, wouldn't be here without it.
Me too. 100% agree.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to have to do an episode and just share my own grime story because mine was quite a mess before I found CBF. I am always jealous of people like you, Morris, because you found it before you started, so you didn't have to
Yeah,
change everything.
I was lucky, or I don't know. I knew, again, to go back to the beginning, I knew I needed to figure out how to run a business and do it the right way from the beginning.
Yeah,
So
so
that's
smart.
what we did.
So smart. Well, thank you again for being part of True
Oh,
Grime Stories. We so appreciate it.
thank
I
you.
know. Yeah, thank you. And I want to just encourage everyone listening today to continue to follow True Grime Stories. We're going to have more great owners coming up. Be sure to just to subscribe and share this episode, download, and give us a review like Morris was talking about. Be sure and give us that 5 stars. We would love that because it just helps more people find these great tips that are being shared on True Grime Stories. So until next time, everyone, we'll see you back here at True Grime Stories. And thanks again, Morris.
Thank you, Jean.
That's a wrap on today's True Grime Stories. Thanks for joining us in uncovering the secrets of cleaning business success. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and download, and check out our show notes for links and info from today's episode, and to learn more about our sponsor, Cleaning Business Fundamentals. Join us next time as we solve another True Grime story.